Chioma Innocent, and these are the top stories. Dozens killed as Israeli strikes continue ahead of Gaza ceasefire. Defense headquarters claims a foreign terrorist invading Nigeria. EFCC source reviews Obasa to be arrested and face probe upon return to Nigeria. And Nance threatens mass protest if Ogun deputy governor fails to apologize in 24 hours. Details now. Thank you for staying with us right here on the World News at 6. The news begins with the Israeli airstrikes continuing in Gaza ahead of the ceasefire agreement and hostage deal with Hamas, which comes into effect on Sunday subject to the Israeli cabinet's approval. The strikes killed 73 people overnight following the announcement of the deal, according to Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency. The Israeli Defense Forces initially said the falling projectile had been identified in southern Israel today, but later said it had been wrongly identified. Israel had previously launched airstrikes in the run-up to ceasefire agreement taking effect, most recently in Lebanon, where heavy bombing hit the capital Beirut just hours before the ceasefire there in November. Lawyers for impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol failed in their court effort to secure his release today after he was detained at his residence for questioning over rebellion allegations linked to his martial law declaration last month. Yoon was sent to a detention center near the country's capital, Seoul, after undergoing more than 10 hours of questioning on Wednesday at the headquarters of the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials, during which he exercised his right to remain silent. He's refused further questioning by the anti-corruption officials today, as his lawyers maintained that the investigation was illegal. Lawyers had asked the Seoul Central District Court to consider his release, questioning the validity of the detention warrant for Yoon issued by the Seoul Western District Court. But the Central District Court has denied their petition. Yoon had avoided several requests to appear for questioning before the anti-corruption agency, and police carried out a major law enforcement operation involving hundreds of personnel to detain him at his residential compound in Seoul. Investigators are expected to move to place him under arrest in the coming days. Sudan's army chief has ordered an investigation into allegations that his troops carried out widespread atrocities after recapturing the capital of Gezira state from their paramilitary rivals. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan's move comes after widespread concern that civilians, including foreign nationals, were killed after the seizure of Wad Madani. Neighboring South Sudan said on Wednesday that it had summoned Sudan's ambassador to protest against the loss of lives amongst innocent citizens. Sudan has been ravaged by war since April 2023, when fighting broke out between the army and the Rapid Support Forces (RSF). Wad Madani, which lies south of the capital Khartoum, fell to the RSF about a year ago, but the military regained control on Saturday. The city serves as a strategic crossroads connecting several states through key supply highways. It is also the closest major town to Khartoum. In a tragic development back home in Nigeria, the police confirmed the attack on Kankara General Hospital, which left a doctor and another health worker with gunshot wounds. The police said that 3 other people were abducted by the gunmen during the attack. The Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State, Aliyu Abubakar, while condemning the attack, described it as senseless and unacceptable. In a statement issued by the Kaduna Police spokesperson, Abubakar Sadiq, the CP said the bandits attacked the hospital on Tuesday, January 14. According to the police, the gunmen invaded the hospital premises with AK-47 rifles and shot sporadically in the air. He noted, however, that a team of police officers were immediately mobilized to the scene of the incident, where a gun battle ensued with the bandits. He also explained that while the police is making efforts to rescue the kidnapped victims and apprehend the criminals, the CP has also urged residents to go about their routine activities. Meanwhile, the defense headquarters has stated that foreign insurgents should be blamed for the influx and banditry in the northeast and northwest regions of the country. You will recall that there have been deadly attacks on military bases and civilian populations in the last few weeks. Speaking on the escalating situation during the first military briefing of the year, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Buba Edward, attributed the resurgence to fighters from the Sahelian region working in collaboration with local accomplices. He, however, assured Nigerians of the military's commitment to eradicate country. He noted that the Nigerian military, apart from destroying the terrorist will to fight, was also applying international pressure to ensure that peace returns to troubled regions in the country. The embattled former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, is set to face intense scrutiny from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) following his impeachment on Monday after allegations of misappropriating 43.5 billion naira in state funds. Sources within the anti-graft agency revealed to People's Gazette that Obasa, who was impeached after a report by the People's Gazette platform exposed his lavish spending on luxury backup vehicles, is expected to be arrested upon his return to Nigeria from the United States. An EFCC insider speaking on the condition of anonymity explained that the evidence against him is overwhelming. According to the source, he won't be able to wriggle out of it this time, as the case has been meticulously compiled and the EFCC is ready to take action. Obasa, who had previously faced an EFCC probe in 2020 for 1 billion naira within a week, was cleared without charges. However, officials believe his chances of escaping prosecution are slim this time. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Ondo State said it would not participate in the local government council election slated for January 18. This was announced in a statement by the PDP Director of Media and Publicity in the state, Leye Igbagbo. He said the party took the decision after wide consultations with stakeholders, claiming that the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission cannot be trusted to conduct a free and fair election. He explained that the PDP is committed to sanitizing the electoral process in the state. Earlier, the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission had screened 13 political parties, including the PDP, to participate in the council polls. The PDP's withdrawal leaves 12 parties in the race. The National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) Ogun Joint Campus Committee has demanded an apology from Ogun State Deputy Governor Noimot Salako Oyedele following an alleged clash between her security convoy and protesting students from Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Mapoli, Abeokuta. The chairman of NANS Ogun JCC, Adeoju Francis, urged Governor Dapo Abiodun to investigate the reported shooting of students by security operatives at Nigeria to face EFCC probe over alleged 43.5 billion naira fraud. And also, this report goes ahead. In the course of the news, you did hear me mention that he had faced a probe in 2020 for allegedly spending 1.1 billion naira within a week, and in 2020 for allegedly spending 1.1 billion naira within a week, and he was cleared without charges. If he was cleared, then how do we know he will not now? And why wait till this long to actually look into the allegations of misappropriation of funds? This is someone who's been speaker for 10 years. Did he just start misappropriating these funds, or is it just now that the anti-graft agency is trying to beam its searchlight on it because he's been impeached, or because the lawmakers have raised the alarm?
Well, 2020 and 2025 is not the same. In 2020, he was still a good boy. In 2020, he was still a good boy, and once you are a good boy, you commit no sin. And even if you... When was this case meticulously compiled? It is these 2 days that he was impeached. So it's just because he has toyed with the gods, and that's why the hammer is now waiting to destroy him.
A source close to the chief of staff from this report disclosed that his calls to the presidency have gone unanswered, like there is a deliberate isolation from the presidency. They don't want him to reach the president, maybe state his case or ask any questions, right? If this is a case that has to do with the EFCC, why desperately trying to reach the president, or why stopping him from trying to reach the president? If the APC has come and said that the president has nothing to do with this, Governor Sanwo-Olu has nothing to do with his impeachment, it has nothing to do with the fact that maybe he has governorship ambitions, and Seyi Tinubu is being touted to come up for also governorship in 2027, because 2027 is not even yet here.
Well, remember what happened when Adam and Eve were chased out of the Garden of Eden. it was made impossible for any other person to enter there. So that's what happens when somebody falls from grace. So Obasa has funding from grace. That is why all these things are happening to him. But in fairness, all these are true because he never showed respect to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He never showed respect to him. He was treating Sanwo-Olu as a subordinate, not even as a leader, because he become a power so much powerful. Because for him to become a speaker that's last year March, Bola Tinubu has to put a call that he wants Mudashiru, that's Obasa, to be the speaker. By then, he was still in the good book of the gods, but he has funding. So he has to be hit with a sucker punch.
Knowing this, and with the EFCC saying he will be arrested upon his return to Nigeria, would you expect him to still make that return?
Well, it depends. It depends. If he feels that he is not guilty of the accusations, he will want to come back. That's if he feels that he is not guilty of the accusations, he will come back. But what they are accusing him, example, building the gate of the State Assembly with billions of understand, it was not single-handedly done by him because he don't have such unfettered powers.
Unfettered access to the state's treasury.
No powers. That's to single-handedly award contract worth billions.
So you're saying there are others that also need to
There
answer
are others,
alongside
yes,
him? Because that would have been my next question. If you are beaming the searchlight on just him, why not actually ask, make further investigations to know others who are into this? Because the reports by People's Gazette that the publication is claiming led to this whole debacle is about 43.5 billion naira misappropriated on luxury backup vehicles for lawmakers, not just for himself.
That's what I'm saying. He never acted unknown, even though he was the Caesar there, but he never acted unknown. But now he is the only one that showed the governorship ambition. He is the only one that has toyed with the gods. So, and the offender has no relatives. He is unknown now.
Now that he is alone and nobody else will answer for him, and he's been cut off from the presidency, and the EFCC is saying they are going to probe him and all of that, how do we know that he will go in for it this time if he did not go in for it in 2020? The amount is relatively higher than it was in 2020. And I know you said 2020 is not 2025. He was a good boy then. He's no longer a good boy. But the presidency has denied, saying, look, we have nothing to do with this. APC has said it has nothing to do with this. The Lagos State government has said it has nothing to do with it. Of the country, particularly the northwest and northeastern regions of the country. I want to talk about of the country, particularly the northwest and northeastern regions of the country. I want to talk about Lakurawa and how they've said, oh, these are not these people are not Nigerians and they don't know what their grievance is. Only for Nigerians to actually discover through another report that they are not a new terrorist group as was being reported, but people who had come in before as vigilantes, people who seem to have had an agreement with the army where they were told to leave, and now they have come back. If indeed these are foreign fighters, if indeed these are terrorists coming from other parts of from places outside the country, doesn't this speak to the porosity of our borders and how more needs to be done to ensure that these terrorist elements are unable to come in through these borders?
I agree quite well that our borders are very, very porous. But the responsibility of government is to solve problems and not to make complaints. People vote for those in government to solve their problems and not to be following them and complaining. So that shows the difference between a leader and a follower. A follower complains, a leader solves problems. So mind you, when the Okawa military thing happened, what the Senate president said then was that they were foreigners.
Are you talking about Okwama in River State?
Okwama in Delta State.
In Delta State, rather.
Yes. Goswell Ababio said that those that killed soldiers were not Nigerians.
But it was the leaders of the community who were in detention and having about 1 or 2 of them dying there.
Understand me? So this is what this government has become fond of, fishing for those that are causing problems instead of providing solution. So whether there are machineries from the moon or the sun, government should fight insecurity. Government should bring law and order in voted to do. They were voted to solve problems.
While we talk about solving these problems, of course, the military is seeking, extra funding in their budget for 2025 in order to be able to combat these militants, these terrorists, these bandits. And just recently, a retired soldier was talking about how the weapons being given to these soldiers to fight these bandits are outdated. Imagine actually confronting bandits with a locally made pistol while these people are holding sophisticated weapons, RPGs, and others. So how can the military actually fight these bandits, whether they are local or they are foreign fighters?
The truth is that our military is not well funded. That's a fact. Have you seen maybe any Nigerian policeman or soldier holding a new even AK-47? Or the answer is no. So these people, because the Sahel is down at this moment, since Saddam Hussein was killed, guns have been coming from Libya and Iraq, entering the Sahel region to Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and down to Nigeria. And with what is happening between us now and Niger, Nigerian government can easily be pushing their terrorists into our country because there's no the borders in the north are just open, so anybody can come in and go out, and the northern politicians are happy with this, even though it is now affecting them because non-Nigerians come to vote during the elections through these open borders. So at times, something that works with you can also work against you. So the open border that have been working against that have been working for the politicians are now working against them with regard to security.
And then insecurity will continue to fester. Recall that this same defense headquarters, which is saying that these are foreign fighters, are also claiming that they are winning the war against insecurity. But every other day, we hear of different attacks, with the most recent being the one in Kano State, where bandits literally went to a hospital and shot the doctors and kidnapped other people, right? I went through the profile of one of the doctors who was shot and seems to be dead at this point. And this was somebody who was very highly intelligent. This was someone whom, if you know what this doctor has done and your life is placed in his hands for surgery or for treatment, you know that you are in the safest of hands. Why should we keep losing our best hand to the influx of these terrorists without being checked? Our defense headquarters tells us that yes, they are winning the fight, but it doesn't seem that way to the Nigerians who have to live the result of these nightmares during and after these attacks.
Well, for me, I want to say wholeheartedly, there's no willingness and there's no capacity to end this insurgency in Nigeria. There's no willingness, there's no capacity to win this war because even some of those in the military hierarchy are benefiting from it. So the willingness is not there. Then the capacity, talking of equipment, is also not there. And I'm sure our Nigerian soldiers are not well motivated for them to go and give out their best.
How do you expect them to be motivated? Recall the attack on the Damboa Ford operating base in Borno State, where terrorists came in at about 4 a.m., shooting sporadically and just wreaking havoc for over 2 hours without being met with any military might at all. So how do you expect these soldiers to actually go out with the best of spirit, the highest of spirit, and then fight against this bandit?
That's why I'm talking about the capacity. They don't have the capacity to fight these insurgents.
Because of our time, I want to quickly talk about the PDP in Ondo State, saying it would not participate in the local government council election slated for January 18, which is about 2 days from today. That is on Saturday. The PDP said it's made wide consultation with the stakeholders. It said the Independent Electoral Commission in the state cannot be trusted to conduct a free and fair election. So instead of being a part of that election, which they are already foreseeing not to be free and fair, they would rather not be part of it at all. But then, if the PDP is that opposition party that is supposed to be the main opposition party in Nigeria right now, what kind of example are they setting to other opposition parties? Because if you are withdrawing from an election because you don't expect it to be free and fair, and then whatever comes out of it, you really would not have anything to say.
No. Or the issue is, this is an exam that you already know the answer before going in to sit.
So they are right by withdrawing from the elections?
There's no way. Local government elections are being conducted by the state-appointed electoral commission. So even the worst governors in the country will still win all the local government in their state because they appointed the electoral body in the state. So that's why PDP is not expecting that anything. And it will also happen in PDP states. Understand me? Because those electoral body members are being appointed by the state government, and they will work to favor the state government.
But if they were to withdraw, why now? It's 2 days to the election. You've spent your time and money campaigning and putting your supporters on high alert, telling them to go out and vote on the day of election, only to disappoint them 2 days before the election.
In politics, there's what is known as SWOT. SWOT, meaning strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. When you check this thing, and you know that it will not favor you, or the best thing is to withdraw.
Even at the 11th hour?
Even if it's an hour to the election.
And so after the elections are conducted and it goes the way that they think it will go, or it does not go the way that they think
APC, the election is in 2 days' time, Saturday. But APC is going to win all the local government in Ondo.
That is what you are predicting. That's what you're expecting to happen.
Because it is Ondo SEC that is going to conduct it.
And so you're already expecting that the election will be truncated before that time. And this is what
happens in all the states. So it's not particular to Ondo State. It happens in all the states in the country. So Sanwo-Olu cannot conduct local government election here. You expect Labour Party or PDP to win.
But that's not what happened in Rivers State with Governor Fubara. The PDP did not win the local government elections in Rivers State and also in Abia State.
No,
the Labour Party did not win all the local government elections in Abia State.
Deliberate. Fubara told his people vote for APP. Then in Abia State, Alex Oti told his people vote for ZLP. So it was deliberate.
Deliberate so that they could have other structures apart from their current parties in case anything happens.
Yes, because they might be doing business with those parties.
So would you then advise other opposition parties to, for fear of failure, not participate in elections? Because if people keep accusing the APC of trying to push a one-party state, and then people are withdrawing from elections.
No, this local government is not being conducted by National INEC. Assuming it is National INEC that is conducting, PDP would have contested, and they would have won that's some local governments. But this is the state independent electoral commission. So it is a different election.
All right, just before you go for 1 minute, I want you to quickly talk about the National Association of Nigerian Students threatening a mass protest if the Ogun State Deputy Governor does not apologize in 24 hours. Earlier today on the program Matters, which I anchored, the police PRO of Ogun State, CSP Omalao Dutola, came on and we spoke to her about the issue that happened between the protesting students of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic yesterday and the Deputy Governor's convoy, which she said caused some damage to the vehicles in that convoy. And also the students alleged that they were shot at, which the police said they did not shoot at the students. The Deputy Governor is being blamed for not coming down to speak to the students, even though she wasn't going to meet them. She was going on a different assignment then. Is Nance right for giving her 24 hours to apologize? Did she actually offend the students?
Well, for me, the truth is you don't break a convoy. It is a crime to break a convoy. When you see a convoy, allow it that to go. And if Ondo State, Ogun State government feels that they did not do well, apology, it doesn't show weakness. Apology does not show weakness. They should the deputy governor should apologize that if she's wrong, because for me I don't know the whole story. But apology is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness.
So the story is that she was on her way to represent the governor at the Armed Forces Remembrance Day at Alamala in Ogun State when she was stopped by the protesting students who actually insisted that she must address them. So she wasn't supposed to be there. She was just passing by when this happened. And then security detail had to shoot into the air to disperse the students. Even though the police is saying they did not shoot, students say they had evidence that the police shot into the air, while some say that the police shot at them, leaving one person injured. So the fact that she wasn't even supposed to be there, be with them at that moment, is she supposed to apologize for not coming out of that vehicle to speak to the students?
No, but these are the youths. These are the youths. So whatever they are protesting for, the woman should have empathized. Understand me? Even for 1 or 2 minutes and continue. Youths don't reason or the way adults do. Because something must have led to the student coming out on the street. But shooting guns, what you do is to excavate it. Understand? So that's why I say if the deputy governor or if the government feel that what they did is not right, they should apologize. Apologize doesn't mean that you are weak. Rather, it means that you are strong.
All right, then our time is fast spent and we need to go. Mr. Peter Onoske, most thank you for joining me on the World News at 6 this evening. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have been listening to the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, we'll take a look at the top stories again. You heard that dozens of Israeli strikes continue ahead of Gaza's ceasefire. Defense headquarters claims foreign terrorists invading Nigeria. EFCC source reveals Obasa to be arrested and face probe upon return to Nigeria. And the Nance threatens mass protest if Ogun State Deputy Governor fails to apologize in 24 hours. And that is a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM. For coverage of your live event and brand news mentions on our news bulletins, do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good evening and thank you for listening.